We're continuing on with Hawkins, an inquiry into the nature and principles of Thoroughbass on a new plan, London 1817. Discords, how prepared and resolved. Although all the notes in the scale, or octave, except the second note and the seventh note, are in their nature concords, or may be applied in the relations of third, fifth, or eighth, to some other note of the bass, in this case C. Yet those very notes may, if applied in succession, so as to follow some other note to which they are not related in one of those degrees, be considered as discords to those notes. The second and seventh are, in their own natures, discords. And the definition of a discord seems to be that it does not fall within the harmonical degrees, that is to say, within the distance of third, fifth, or eighth. When compared with some other note, in this case C. With which it is used. In the octave, it may be observed that the third is a third to the keynote, for example C, and also to the fifth, counting backwards, and counting forwards. The fifth is a fifth to the keynote, so here's C and a third to the third. The fourth is a fifth to the octave, so we go octave here, C, jump up to C, and we count back 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a fifth, and that gives us a fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4. Reckoning backwards, counting back 5. And a third to the sixth, in the same manner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Backwards will give us the third forward. The sixth is a third to the octave, reckoning backwards. So let's go back 3. That's a third, which gives us a sixth, which is a third from the octave. And it's a third to the sixth in the same manner. But the second is only a second to the keynote, reckoning forwards, and a seventh to the octave, reckoning backwards. The seventh is, in like manner, a seventh forwards from the keynote, and a second backwards from the octave. From this, it is plain that all the notes in the octave, except the second note and the seventh note, are, when compared to the keynote, whatever it may be, or compared to the octave of the keynote, related in some of the proportions above mentioned, but that the second and seventh have no such relation when compared to the keynote or the octave. It is, however, extremely plain that each of the notes, as well the discordant as concordant, may be, in that respect, very much changed according as they are applied to or associated with other notes of the octave. Any of the other notes, if compared with the note immediately above or below it, is a discord. And in this manner, the discords may, in the mode of using them, be changed from discords to concords, and the concords to discords. In a chord, in Thoroughbass, the same note may be, in some instances, harmony with some notes of the chord, and discordant with others. For example, in the chord of the seventh, let's go C here, consisting of 3, 5, 7, the third and fifth are harmony with the bass note, and also with the seventh, because the third is a third to the bass note, and a fifth to the seventh, and also a third to the fifth. The fifth is a fifth to the bass note, a third to the third, and a third to the seventh. But the seventh is a discord to the bass note, because when compared with that, it does not fall into any of the proportions of third, fifth, or eighth. In composition, it seems allowable that the notes in the octave may succeed each other, either upwards or downwards, as they there stand. Thus, C, D, E, and so on, may follow each other in immediate succession, although not related to each other in any of the proportions above mentioned. Discords are said to be prepared by a third and resolved into a third, which it seems should be thus understood. Supposing a composer were setting a piece of music in the key of C and wished to introduce the note B or D, which are certainly discordant to the keynote C. It seems to be the rule that in the composition of the melody or air, he or she or they must, if he wishes to take B, introduce G or D, its third, immediately before it, and do the same after it, so as to place G on one side and D on the other. This seems to be the meaning of the terms the preparation and resolution of discords. Again, supposing anyone wanted to pass from the key of C into G, and for that purpose should insert, as he must, F sharp instead of F natural, which is the seventh of that key of G, and consequently a discord, the note before F must be D, and that after it must be A. Both being thirds. Chambers, in his dictionary article discord, says the discords are the fifth when joined with the sixth, the fourth joined with the fifth. The ninth is in its own nature a discord, so is the seventh. These discords, adds he, are introduced into the harmony with due preparation and must be succeeded by concords, which is commonly called the resolution of the discord. The discord is prepared by subsisting first in the harmony in quality of a concord, that is, the same note which becomes the discord is first a concord to the bass note, immediately preceding that to which it is a discord. The discord is resolved by being immediately succeeded by a concord, descending from it by the distance only of greater second or lesser second. The greater second here means only two notes that are both whole tones. The lesser second is where one is a whole tone and the other a semitone. Both instances are here reckoned exclusive of the bass note, or that from which they are distant, which is not the usual method of musical computation. Reckoning in the usual mode, both these, instead of being seconds from the bass note, would be thirds, with this difference only, that the third note in one case would be a whole tone, and in the other a semitone. And this mode of interpretation is perfectly consistent with the rule often mentioned that discords are prepared by a third and resolved by a third. Miller, speaking of the seventh, unquestionably as a discord, says, every seventh is prepared by a third and resolved into a third. And referring to an example which he has there given, he says, thus the seventh will be found between two thirds all the way.